Thank you for being with us today. So UN Women just launched the HeForShe campaign to highlight men who stand for women's equality. Why the focus on men?
Because men are part of the problem and part of the solution. And maybe the latter part is important to underline, that men really have to be part of the solution, or let me put it this way, if they don't want to be part of the solution, they are part of the problem. So we want to offer a platform for men to speak out on gender equality, to show their support, their solidarity. It's part of a challenge to men to not be the silent bystander, to speak up if their buddies tell sexist jokes, to maybe ask if they're invited to speak on a panel, how is the gender balance? Actually, there are some men now who refuse to sit on panels if there are only men. So there are so many ways that men who do support gender equality can show it, and we want to encourage them to show it. We think it's very important that men don't just are silent supporters, but vocal supporters.
Okay. So today, thanks to gains over the last 2 decades, gender mainstreaming is a part of a lot of humanitarian and development programming. So what do you see as the next evolution in gender mainstreaming? How do we move forward from the progress that we've already made?
Well, I think the term itself, the concept of gender mainstreaming, came out of the International Conference on Women in Beijing in 1995. And it has definitely served a purpose, but it has also in a way become an end in itself. And the next phase of gender mainstreaming is in a way incorporated in what UN Women thinks should be in the next development agenda. We do think that in order for gender mainstreaming to be meaningful, it has to contribute to concrete results, measurable results. So what we are proposing, and many countries support this thought, is that in the next development agenda you need a standalone goal that addresses comprehensively the important aspects of gender inequality and equality. In addition, you need clear targets and indicators on gender equality in the other goals. In other words, you mainstream and you measure. Without measuring, mainstreaming is not as effective as we think it should be.
Okay. And currently in the proposal now, is gender a part of all the goals? In the draft form, I know it hasn't been adopted yet.
Gender is not yet a part of all the goals, but we're not there yet, and many member states, many countries support this. So it remains to be seen what will finally be adopted.
Okay. And finally, UN Women envisions a world where every woman and girl is equal and is treated equal. What do you think is a tipping point for this future?
That's a good question. I think tipping points are maybe most easily seen in the rearview mirror. Maybe, when the day comes, I want to say when the day comes where we have gender equality, we can look back and say, this was when it really changed. This was the game changer. I think there are several elements that can contribute to a tipping point. I think one of them being men speaking up, men seeing this as their agenda as well, as an agenda for social justice that benefits all. I think that when women speak up, like we see around the world now, that more women speak up, and not only women but men become more vocal and outraged about gender inequality and attacks on women that we see every day. I think that also builds a very important momentum. I think when we see more women in decision-making positions, when we see more women in parliament, more women in government, more women in the boardrooms in the private sector. At some point, I think we will see a critical mass that will help change, bring us to the tipping point.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.